Everyone has heard the expression, he's got rocks in his head. Well, the other day I met a woman who really has rocks in her head. And you know, it can turn out to be a pretty good thing. I was at a dinner party and struck up a conversation with a charming, middle-aged lady. I asked her the secret of her sparkle, and she answered, "Well, Dr. Peale, I used to be a very unhappy woman and thought I had no creative ability until one day I discovered that I've got rocks in my head." I must have looked startled because she laughed and said, "Don't be concerned. They're really very lovely rocks." Well, I couldn't imagine why anyone would be happy about having rocks in her head, so I was very curious to hear more about this. This charming lady explained to me how she found out she had rocks in her head. It seems she had 2 children and a very successful husband. But when her children started school, she found herself with a lot of time on her hands. She became very depressed and unhappy because she didn't seem to have any creative talents. Many of her friends were taking lessons in music, painting, and other arts, but she felt it would be just a waste of money for her. So the future stretched out pretty dismally with the thought of just marking time each day until her husband and children came home. One day she went for a walk by the lake near their home, and while she was walking she noticed a rock lying on the ground. It was just a plain, ordinary rock, but somehow it reminded her of Adam and Eve. Well, she took that rock home, but nobody else saw Adam and Eve in it. So she got some paint and painted what she saw on that rock. Her family liked what she had painted, and they saw what she had visualized in that rock. She continued to search for rocks that interested her, and she painted her ideas on them. One day an art dealer came to her home and saw her work. He asked if he could take one of them and put it in his window. Well, people started coming in to ask about the rock, and several of them wanted to buy it, so the dealer asked her if she would paint some more rocks for him. Today, that lady is selling her painted rocks all over Europe, and dealers are importing them to the United States. So you see, it might not be such a bad thing to have rocks in your head. Do you have some crazy idea that you think is foolish? Are you sure you don't have more creativity than you give yourself credit for? Everybody has some talent they can turn to advantage. It's just a matter of finding a way to express yourself and your ideas and feelings. You may not sell them and profit monetarily, but you will gain an inner satisfaction money can't buy.